All right. Hello, everyone. This is Bible Talk with Amery. This week we are covering the coming to America, Pope Francis, One World Religion Agenda. This is his historic trip to America. I am joined by friend and researcher Kirk Francis, and of no relation to Pope Francis.
All right, that's right.
We'll be covering every day, daily, up until when the Pope, after he speaks at Congress, his stay in the Americas. Today we're going to go over some
Amery,
current events.
As you were, even though we're joking about that, I was looking at the news feed today.
You looked it up?
Pope Francis, and after he got off the plane, red carpet rolled out. Guess what car this guy got in?
I saw that. I was going to mention that.
The same Fiat, man. I got to get rid of that Fiat now fast. Is there anybody out there looking for a Fiat to buy? I got to unload that Fiat real quick.
Right. That's funny. You're in a Fiat. He's in a Fiat. This is a black one. It's
At
a
least mine
four-door.
is convertible.
Right. Yours is convertible. His is a four-door.
Yeah.
Okay. So, no relation, but there are a few things in common. Okay, we're going to be going over some current events. This trip is, as we mentioned before in the last video, it's a historic trip. It's the first time Pope Francis has stepped foot on U.S. soil since he was made Pope. Not only that, the trip, as we also mentioned, has a historic level of security for anyone in United States history visiting the country. So it's got a historic level of security. Today's date is September 22nd, 2015. Pope Francis arrived today. I watched CNN. I was watching the coverage on CNN. I watched him land at I think it was an Air Force base. The name of the Air Force base slips me at the moment. Do you remember the name? It was a Marshall or Patrick Air Force Base?
That slipped me as well. Somewhere in Maryland.
Right. Yeah. Maryland. Yeah. Maryland.
Maryland. Oh, no wonder.
Yeah.
Where else would he come?
Right. Exactly. Where else would he come? Right. So the Pope landed. He flew in on his private jet, or actually a jet that might have been a part of an Italian fleet of jets. I forget the name of the company, but not very important. But little subtle details are important. We mentioned the car, the Fiat.
Yes.
Why is that important? Well, since we brought that up, we'll just talk about that very quickly. A few months ago, we had a historic visit to Korea, the Korean Peninsula. And these visits are not by happenstance that he has these visits where he goes. The Korean Peninsula has the largest demilitarized zone on the planet. North Korea has not yet fallen to the Rothschilds' banks, so it was a very historic visit. Also, when he came to America, when he was in Korea, do you remember the car he got into there?
Don't tell me. What was that?
A Kia Soul.
Oh, okay. Kia Soul.
A Soul,
okay,
right?
At least I don't own one of those.
Yeah. He got into a Soul, and very interesting that he would get into a Soul.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, you get it. You get the pun. So everything they do,
yes,
is very well calculated, right?
Yes.
So it's playing right into this overall theme of I'm living this life that's less than the other popes. I'm the people's pope. There's a term that was coined, the people's pope.
Yes.
He's doing these things to become more attractive, and it's working. Okay. He's a very charismatic pope. He likes to get out and he likes to
mingle with the people.
Likes to mingle with the people.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, kiss babies. Do all sorts of things, kiss lepers, people with, maybe not lepers, but people, I saw a guy he kissed that was grossly disfigured.
Yes.
He had some sort of disease, but it's reminiscent of gospel Jesus and how Jesus would go around touching and blessing.
Lepers.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And how the crowds would form for Jesus.
Correct.
So what he's doing is he's projecting to a T, this vicar of the Son of God, this vicar of Christ, So the vicar of God. So he's trying to fulfill that role. So
as I mentioned, Amery, you go ahead. Not only is it his first time in America as Pope, it's the first time I think I mentioned in the last one that the significant. Not only is he the Pope, he's a Jesuit Pope.
He's a Jesuit Pope, right?
All right, so that's the key thing. There's the first time you have a Jesuit as Pope, and that's what we're going to look at some more into the significance of being a Jesuit.
Right. Very, very significant. The Wolf Blitzer on CNN actually covered this point while he was talking to a cardinal. I forget the cardinal's name, but he's a cardinal that's in the D.C. area. He is a Jesuit, and this is the first time a Jesuit Pope has been elected. I'm not even sure if he was elected. I think that might have been. They might,
But there's no vote. They're selected.
Yeah, we should say selected.
Yes.
Right. The first time a Jesuit Pope has been selected. Very interesting turn in strategy. This, to me, signifies end time game.
No question about it.
It seems this signifies because they're rolling out the big boys. They're rolling out the end time strategy.
So we have two Jesuits now. We have not only the Pope as Jesuits, but we have what's known as the Black Pope, which is the man behind the Pope, the most powerful man on the planet. He's known as the Black Pope.
I've heard that term.
Adolfo Nicholas is the current Black Pope right now, more powerful than Pope Francis that you have seen on TV.
Okay, maybe we can get into that a little bit. Adolfo Nicholas. Okay, so a few more current events. All right, so he gets into this four-door Fiat, an Italian small car. Continuing the theme of humility. A few key details that CNN pointed out. America has the fourth highest population of Catholics in the world. One of the political pundits also pointed this out. 7 of the 15 presidential candidates running for the official office of the president are Roman Catholic.
7 out of 15 right
7
now?
out of 15 are Roman Catholic. Right now. So we're definitely looking at end game strategy, man. Very, very deliberate moves. And I'm going to get more into this. CNN had a poll. 63% of Americans view this pontiff as favorable. They view him in a favorable light. 13% view him as unfavorable, and 24% are unsure. Out of the Catholics that were polled, 74% view the Pope as being favorable. Just about 11% higher than the general American populace. 88% view the Roman Catholic Church as a whole as favorable. This is amongst the Catholics that were polled, and this is from a CNN poll. Okay, so just once again touching on his whole image that he's portraying for the people. While I was thinking about it, it reminded me of the 1990s Andre Agassi Canon Rebel commercials. Image is everything, right? Image is everything. You remember those commercials? The camera? Image is everything.
Okay.
Double entendre, double meaning, right? Image as in your photograph is everything, but image in who you are is also everything.
So the image he's putting out.
The image he's putting out is everything, and he understands this. It's a part of his platform as the people's.
Yeah, looking on, you would definitely be like, oh man, look at this humble old man. How
right,
lovable.
And that's why people like him so much. Another comparison, just to get on this. I know there are undoubtedly Catholics listening in. Let me just mention, in this presentation, we are going to be presenting prophecy and how the Roman Catholic system of power, the Vatican, the Holy See, fits into this prophecy. We're also going to mention the difference between God's people who are in those churches and how they fit into prophecy and where the Bible mentions them. So remember, when we're talking about this prophecy, we're not talking about the people. We are talking about the system that Martin Luther broke out of and other prominent Roman Catholic priests broke out away from, creating the Protestant movement. As I was thinking about it, I was comparing it to the story of the narco terror going on in Mexico. There are several news outlets covered the fact that a lot of the drug kingpins they're actually loved by a lot of the local population for several reasons. The kingpins are able to do things for the local populace that the government has, as a whole, has failed at doing. For instance, the kingpins will provide social services to the poor.
Yes.
Right? And this is a very, very clever thing that they do. And what I'm doing, right? What I'm doing is I'm juxtaposing these people and their deliberate outward acts versus who they really are and what their ulterior motive is.
It's a clever disguise.
It's a clever disguise, exactly. So just because you are giving gifts and bearing gifts and
I heard also that the Pope was also giving money out.
Was he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't hear that.
Giving cash dollar.
Wow. I did not hear that. But see, that right there is also, that's also an ingenious political tactic.
Yes.
Why Jesus never went around giving out cash.
No.
But yet he was able to earn favor amongst the people.
Healing,
was he not?
Diseases, yeah.
Right, healing and teaching.
Yes.
Why would the Pope feel that he needs to give out cash, being the vicar, the so-called vicar of the Son of God here on
probably
earth?
One reason, maybe, he got the printing machine right in the back. So I'm saying the reason why I couldn't just roll it out before he head out and take a couple off the press.
Give out some funny money?
Yeah, some funny money.
Okay, so the ulterior motive for the Vatican. The Vatican, it's difficult to discuss ulterior motive without discussing history.
Correct.
In history, the Vatican was responsible for killing, and these are conservative estimates by Bible scholars, roughly 50 million Christians, okay? And this is also prophetic. We'll point you to the scripture. It's actually in Daniel 7:25? We're out the saints of the Most High?
Yes.
The Vatican was also responsible for, in part, the slave trade, the African slave trade.
Yes.
There were also several horrendous things they were responsible for. Genocide which they just apologized for in the New World, the natives of the New World in South America. Genocide against those people.
The slave trade, just to comment on that as well, I think it was in 1493, somewhere around there, if my memory serves me correct, where the Pope, it was a papal bull that gave the order to Portugal and Spain to start slavery. That came straight from the hand of the Pope.
Right, the vicar of the Son of God, right?
Supposedly. Yeah.
That's amazing. Ask yourself this, friends. You're listening to this broadcast. Would Jesus, we have this expression, this acronym, WWJD.
Yeah,
okay?
What would Jesus do?
What would Jesus do?
Yeah.
Now, ask yourself this. I don't need to, would Jesus enslave millions of Africans?
doesn't fit the...
I don't think so.
Can't picture that.
So, we also discussed in an earlier broadcast the rat lines.
Yes.
And you mentioned that the History Channel covered this.
Correct.
Just give us a little taste of that briefly. What did you learn?
I mean, the rat line, basically, I got to understand that Hitler himself was working with the Vatican. As a matter of fact, here, I think I have a quote from Hitler. This is a quote from Hitler. This now is taken from The Vatican Against Europe, Edmond Paris, page 252, 256. Quote, Hitler says, "I have learned most of all from the Jesuit order. So far, there has been nothing more imposing on earth than the hierarchical organization of the Catholic Church. A good part of that organization I have transported directly into my own party." All right. Wow. So we had Hitler that's connected in with the Vatican. All right. Another thing that happened while these Jews were being slaughtered, not only Africans were slaughtered, the Jewish people through the Holocaust were also slaughtered by the Vatican. All right, they're silenced. They had nothing to say while these Jews, what was it, 6 million?
6 million Jews.
6 million.
That's a lot of people.
They were rounding up in with the gas chambers, the concentration camps. The Pope was silent at the time. His silence, the Pope's silence, gave consent to what was going on. Silence
is consent, man. I don't care how you try to spin it. This Pope is, the Popes are very vocal on. He's got everything to say about capitalism and this and that and the global warming and he got abortion, all these different things to say, but 6 million people being slaughtered silent. So
6 million. Now what happened after they came in and the Nazis were defeated? Most of Hitler's generals, the big men, the Roman Catholic Church. Now, this is according to the History Channel now. This is the History Channel.
Right, this ain't no internet hearsay, right?
Just Google it or look it up. The History Channel is called the Rat Line. What happened? The Pope would dress up Hitler's military guy as Roman Catholic priest, gave them passports, and shipped them off to South America to get them out of Germany to escape persecution. That's what's known as the Rat Line.
Once again, WWJD, what does that stand for?
What would Jesus do?
Okay, all right. Okay, so you see where we're going with this. We're going to bring you some hard-hitting prophecy over the next couple of days, and we're going to show you exactly why the Bible fingers this church, this organization, this Vatican, which has a pretense for the public, but behind-the-scenes political activity and some of their overt actions in history, before television cameras, before internet, when they thought no one was listening and when they had absolute power, they destroyed lives, millions of people.
Amery, I don't think we have a real gravity, either myself, yourself, or even those listening, as to just how many lives or people the Vatican is responsible for killing. This text here in the Bible kind of puts it more, give us a scope as to just how many people the Vatican or the Pope, the Holy See, is responsible for. In Revelation 18:24, you mind reading that or sharing that with us? Look at Revelation 18:24. Talking about the Pope, the Antichrist. How many people has he been responsible for killing on the planet according to the Word of God?
Okay, Revelation 18:24, and it says, in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all that were slain upon the earth.
How many?
All that were slain upon the earth.
What? All that were slain upon the earth? What I've come to understand, Amery, if the Jesuit order did not exist, we would not have experienced slavery. There would not have been the Holocaust.
Number two.
There would not have been World War I, World War II. None of pretty much, according to the Bible, all that were slain upon the earth, their blood can be traced right back to the Vatican, to the Pope.
Once again, WWJD, what does that mean? What would Jesus do? These things, friends, can be found in history. The Vatican is trying to sanitize history, but the Bible is calling them out. Okay?
Here's another quote I'd like to share with you. This is from Amery Manhattan. Amery Manhattan, in his book, Vatican Against Europe, page 308, says this: no political event or circumstance can be evaluated without the knowledge of the Vatican's part in it. No political event or circumstance can be evaluated without the knowledge of the Vatican's part in it. And no significant world situation exists in which the Vatican does not play an important explicit or implicit role. Again,
that's powerful.
No significant world situation exists in which the Vatican is not involved.
That's powerful. That is powerful. And that seems to corroborate with what the Bible corroborates with the Bible's statement on them, killing everybody on earth, all that have died. Moving back to some of the current events. This isn't so current. It's from a few years ago, but Forbes magazine online, you can look it up, article from October 25, 2011. The article is talking about the popes or the Vatican calling for world government. Okay, you can look this up. Pope or Vatican calling for world government.
Yeah.
October 25, 2011. In addition to that, they're also calling for a one world religion. Okay, and also a one world currency, which has also been covered by several major media outlets. The one world currency was what specifically was they were calling for a one world central bank. Okay, so if you're in front of your computer, you can go to Google and you can type in Pope calls for one world central bank or one world currency. Now, central banks, as we know, produce currency. In the United States, we weren't supposed to have a central bank according to our Constitution, but we have the Federal Reserve, which acts like a central bank. So it is a central bank, but and they even call it federal, but it's just as federal as Federal Express.
That's right. Nothing federal about it.
There's nothing federal about it. It's
privately owned.
It's a private cabal of banks. Okay. Article from today from the AP. This is actually not from today. This is from the 21st of this month. Yesterday, John Boehner, House Speaker, in the article it says that he's been trying to get a pope to come talk to Congress for 20 years.
Wow. For 20 years.
20 years. Okay. That's what it says in the article. The AP was reporting that. Okay. And let me see if I can get you the title of the article. The title of the article is Catholic Lawmakers Thrilled by Upcoming Visit of Francis. And the article,
sure they are.
Yeah, they're thrilled to death.
There's a couple of Protestants that also thrilled, or so-called Protestants jumping for joy as well. So-called
Protestants, right? The article is written by Erica Werner. So you can look that up. AP, September 21st, 2015, posted at 11:37 a.m. Okay, so John Boehner for 20 years has been trying to get a pope to come talk to Congress, and my question is why?
Yeah.
John Boehner is Roman Catholic, we know, but why? Why the Pope? Why would he want the Pope, in your opinion? What's your weigh in on that?
First of all, Amery, to have a Jesuit come to America is ludicrous. It is ridiculous. Because when you understand the history of America, how this nation was founded, you got to understand the people were running from the persecution of the Pope. That's why they came to this new land, to America. The pilgrims, they came across the Atlantic. Why did they need to leave in such mass groves? It's because of the conditions that they were faced back in Europe. Persecution. So they came to set up a country where they could have liberty of conscience and to worship God according to their dictates without the persecution.
Right.
A country without a king and freedom of religion.
Right. So you're saying is we've basically forgotten our history.
Come on now. Either we have forgotten, either they have been duped or somebody's trying to dupe me, you know? I ain't going for it, either one.
Okay,
There's some duping going on here.
There's definitely some duping. I'm looking at this in two ways. Either
coming to America.
Right, either we've forgotten our history or
we've been duped.
This is a result of infiltration.
Yes, one or the other.
And I'm leaning towards both, a little of both.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
What we call the Antichrist amnesia, right?
Yeah, Antichrist amnesia. We discussed
I'd like to read for you real quick, Amery, just to put this into perspective. People are like, why are you so hard on the Jesuits? He looks like a nice little old man. He's kissing the babies. Why are you so hard on this man? Why are we so hard on this man, Amery?
Because he's got an ulterior motive, and the Bible points him out, calls him the man of sin.
Here's why we're so hard on this man.
The
man of sin, 2 Thessalonians 4. We already identified it in the
chapter
first
2,
part.
Verse 4, right.
And then he comes out of Rome. Here's an oath. I had to dig this up. What I got here is an actual oath that you have to take when you become a Jesuit. This is known as the Jesuit. Yeah, folks like, why are you so hard on this man? He looks like a sweet little old man going around and giving money out, kissing babies, riding
around in Fiats and Kia Souls.
Yeah, instead of the Mercedes, So why are you so hard on this? Here's why we're so hard on this man. By the way, I'm not just the one hard on this man. Listen to this. The Jesuits have been banned. This is what we talk about, people forgetting their history, been duped.
Right.
All right. When you forget how the Lord has led you in the past, clearly you can be fooled for the future. All right. The Jesuits as a group has in the past been banned from over 100 countries.
Oh, wow.
100 countries have banned them. We talk about them now coming to America. Wait a minute. At one point, no Jesuit could enter Brazil. Brazil banned them in 1754.
Let me just say something real quick before you continue that. I want the listeners to think about this. If 100 countries ban
them.
Look, people are banning, let me put it this way. Countries, not even 100 countries have banned GMOs yet, or glyphosate, and people know it's dangerous, but I don't even think 100 countries have banned it yet. They're banning people, an institution. What does that tell you about
that institution?
The influence of that institution and what that institution stands for? Okay, go ahead.
Not only the 100 countries banned them, they have been banned also from every Catholic country. Even the own Catholic country banned.
They don't even want them.
They don't even want them. It got to the point where even Italy itself banned them.
Wow.
Italy, where they were founded, banned the Jesuits.
Does this tell you something about how dangerous they are?
How dangerous they are. Let me give you some history now. 1754, Brazil banned them. 1759, Portugal banned them, expelled them. 1764, France expelled them. 1767, Spain expelled them. Listen to this. On April 2nd, 1767, in Spain, here's what happened. All the Jesuit houses were surrounded. The Jesuits were arrested, then taken to the ports in the clothes that they were wearing and bundled onto ships and were kicked out of Spain.
Oh, wow.
1767. Every Jesuit had to leave Spain immediately. Wow. Mexico banned them, 1767. Austria, Colombia, Netherlands, Japan. The list goes on and on and on. You talk about coming to America. Now we're rolling out the red carpet for this man. I saw a red carpet they had laid out from that airplane for this man.
I saw it. Matter of fact, they had to practice rolling it out so they could get it right.
So wait a minute. Where did we go wrong? What went wrong? From going from banning them to a red carpet, Amery?
Let me weigh in on this. Banning the Vatican,
banning the Jesuits
banning the Jesuits doesn't mean they're not going to find a way back in.
They found a way back in.
And let me tell you something. They're not going to write nice letters to come back in. How are they going to come back in? They're going to use cover. They act like CIA. They act like MI6 or something. They're spies. They are a secretive organization, and quite frankly, they'll do anything to regain the power of the Vatican. Now, I know you got some more information for me.
Yes. Going back to the banning. In 1605, what happened was they were trying to get rid of the King of England. So that they have what's known as the Gunpowder Plot. Where the Jesuits, we have what's known as Guy Fawkes. I think the movie came out, V for Vendetta.
Yeah, I saw that, V for Vendetta.
That's who Guy Fawkes was.
Yeah, the Mac. Yeah. Okay.
The plot was they were trying to assassinate the King of England because he wouldn't go along with the Pope.
Wouldn't bring him in.
So they discovered, fortunately, they were planning to blow up the entire English parliament and kill the king, everybody in one blow. Kind of remind me of 9/11.
Right.
Now, what happened is, fortunately, was discovered. To this day, every November, the British still celebrate what's known as Guy Fawkes Day. That's the day they discovered the Jesuit plot to kill the King of England along with the entire parliament. In 1605, not just the Jesuits now, in 1605, all Catholics were banned from entering England, kicked out the country in 1605.
Wow, that right there is interesting. Once again, I have to lean on this. I think this is going to become the acronym of the evening, WWJD. The Roman Catholic Church, and I see you're holding the
oath.
You're holding the Jesuits' extreme oath, and I'd like you to read that, or I'll read it.
Yes.
Because it's important that people understand that WWJD, what would Jesus do, and what would the Catholics do, or what would the Jesuits do, is two different things.
Yes.
And they're supposed to be called the Society of Jesus.
That's when we talked about the devil coming as an angel of light. And it's no doubt if his ministers also appear as the ministers of righteousness. The Jesuit priests, they go around as a cloak doing good. They're visiting orphanages.
Right.
They're feeding the poor. They're visiting prisons.
That's the
But
cover.
underneath it all, it's just a cover. The venom, they're just waiting for the right time to strike.
To do what they got to do.
We're playing with fire, Amery. These kings and these presidents, the reason why he's visiting so many countries, they are playing with fire.
Right. They don't understand how that these guys are still dangerous.
Very dangerous.
They're still in it to win it. They're not. And see, the way the Jesuits operate, it's stealth. It's so hard to detect. By the time you detect them, damage has already been done.
It's already done.
They operate in through your schools, through your universities, through your government, and it's like the leaven of the Pharisees that Jesus warned the disciples about, right?
Yes.
He warned them of the teaching of the Pharisees, the leaven,
Yes.
right? Okay, yeah, so what you want to go ahead and you want to read
let's
that?
do that. Oh,
Okay,
yes,
let's get that out the way.
Well, when you're playing with fire, it's only a matter of time before you're going to get burned.
Matter of time.
Obama right now is playing with fire. The Cuban presidents, all these guys around the world, they're playing with fire. It's only a matter of time. You keep playing with that fire before you get burned. And by the way, that was one of their favorite ways, that 50 million people that you talked about, they destroyed in the Dark Ages. Burnt them.
Yep.
That's one of their favorite ways of assassinating or murdering people. All right, here's the Jesuit oath. This is the oath now that you got to take when you become a Jesuit priest. All right, the following text was on the United States Congressional Record, House Calendar number 397, 15 of February 1913, page 3215 to 3216. Also, this oath is confirmed as validity by Dr. Alberto Rivera.
Okay, right. Former Jesuit priest Alberto Rivera, and what he says the Jesuits and the Vatican have planned in terms of infiltration.
Government that cover a tremendous number of institutions.
And the purpose of that infiltration was what for?
Well, the purpose is what the Roman Catholic system has all the time as her own purpose, is to infiltrate, to penetrate all the areas of life where the Roman Catholic can have control and access for the coming world government. What that means is, in preparation for that world government, the Roman Catholic institution, especially since the establishment of the Jesuit order in 1541, throughout all these 500 years, they've been in preparation and through infiltration and penetration of every level of society in order to take over the world politically and religiously. Pusigistas, the Legion of Mary, the Blue Army, many of these militant organizations, I train and prepare how they can become Baptists, how they can become Adventists, how they can become Methodists, how they can become Presbyterian, how they can become Pentecostal, and all these areas where they most infiltrate any area.
It says, just to give you a backdrop, when they're signing in as a Jesuit, the secret society, upon the floor is a red cross at which the postulant or candidate kneels. The superior, the Jesuit superior, hands him a small black crucifix, which he takes in his left hand and presses it to his heart. And the superior, at the same time, presents to him a dagger, which he grasps by the blade and holds the point against his heart. The superior, still standing, still holding it by the hilt, and thus addresses the proselyte. Here's what the superior says. Maybe you should read that part. This is now the superior talking to the Jesuit when he's signing in to become a Jesuit.
The superior says, "My son, heretofore you have been taught to act the dissembler, among Roman Catholics, to be a Roman Catholic, and to be a spy even among your own brethren, to believe no man, to trust no man. Among the reformers, to be a reformer. Among the Huguenots, to be a Huguenot. Among the Calvinists, to be a Calvinist. among the Protestants generally to be a Protestant, and obtaining their confidence, to seek even to preach from their pulpits, and to denounce with all the vehemence in your nature our holy religion and the Pope.
Omi, just to stop you there, this is the extent to which these guys will go.
Lying.
There are many Protestant preachers that are truly not Protestant at all.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
They're Jesuit priests posing as Protestant ministers.
And we've caught a couple in it within our ranks.
Yes.
And so here it says they're to denounce the Pope. See that this lying, bearing false. They break every commandment.
What would Jesus do? Huh?
What would Jesus do? Would Jesus break every commandment to gain influence? This is some CIA stuff here.
Yes.
Okay. And even to descend. Ooh, this is ugly. And even to descend so low as to become a Jew among Jews. Wow, that's ugly. That's not us saying that. That's a superior. These are Catholics saying this. That you may be enabled to gather together all information for the benefit of your order. Wow. Gather together all information. This is reconnaissance information.
Yes.
CIA stuff. For the benefit of your order as a faithful soldier of the Pope.
There you go.
You have been taught to plant insidiously the seeds of jealousy and hatred between communities, provinces, states that were at peace, and to incite them to deeds of blood, involving them in war with each other, and to create revolutions and civil wars in countries that were independent and prosperous, cultivating the arts and the sciences and enjoying the blessings of peace, to take sides with the combatants and to act secretly with your brother Jesuit, who might be engaged on the other side, but openly opposed to that with which you might be connected, only that the church might be the gainer in the end, in the conditions fixed in the treaties for peace, in that the end justifies the means. You have been taught your duty as a spy, to gather all statistics, facts, and information in your power from every source, to ingratiate yourself into the confidence of the family circle of Protestants and heretics of every class and character, as well as that of the merchant, the banker, the lawyer, among the schools, and to all men, for the Pope's sake, whose servants we are unto death. You have received all your instructions heretofore as a novice, a neophyte, and have served as a coadjutor, confessor and priest, but you have not yet been invested with all that is necessary to command in the army of Loyola. In the servants of the Pope.
There's something more you need to do. Listen to this. What else they need to do?
You must serve the proper time as the instrument and executioner as directed by your superiors. For none can command here who has not consecrated his labors with the blood of the heretic.
Wait a minute.
Wow.
None can. What are they saying? None can command here who have not done what?
Consecrated his labors with the blood of a heretic. He's got to kill somebody. It's like a gang. It sounds like a gang.
Sounds like the gang to me as well.
For without the shedding of blood, no man can be saved. Wow, this sounds like some paganism now, some heathenism.
That's the oath.
Therefore, to fit yourself for the work and make your own salvation
That's that little old sweet man running around kissing babies.
WWJD. Therefore, to fit yourself for your work and make your own salvation sure, you will, in addition to your former oath of obedience to your order and allegiance to the Pope, repeat after me. And now this is what they say. But this just to sum up what they say.
They gotta now shed blood to advance.
Wow, doesn't sound like something Christ would do.
Like I said, nothing holy about this oath.
That sounds like something the cartel would do.
Exactly. So that's what the Jesuits are. It's really a military organization of the Roman Empire, which they're put in the garb of religious, because as a religious cloak, they're able to get further. There's a saying, if you can't beat them, join him.
Right.
When they try to beat the Christians, remember the Roman Empire tried to get rid of all the Christians. They were trying to persecute them. But the more they persecute them, the more Christians would spring up.
Right.
So they came up with a new plan. If you can't beat them,
join them.
Let's join them.
Infiltrate and corrupt.
Let's infiltrate them. Now, here's what would respond. Now, the Jesuit would respond. I'll read this part here. The response after the superior just says that, the Jesuit would respond saying, I do further promise and declare that I will, when the opportunity presents, make and wage relentless war, secretly and openly, against all heretics, Protestants, and Masons, as I am directed to do, to extirpate them from the face of the whole earth, and that I will spare neither age, sex, nor condition, and that I will hang, burn, waste, boil, flay, strangle, and bury alive these infamous heretics, rip up the stomachs and the wombs of their women, and crush their infants' heads against the walls, in order to annihilate their race. That when the same cannot be done openly, did you hear that, Amery? Rip open the stomach of their pregnant woman and crush their infants' heads against the wall.
Sounds like something the Roman armies would do, not Jesus.
Definitely not a religious order we're dealing with.
Not
That's what we got to come to grips with. This is not that's why so many people are fooled. Be careful that no man deceive you. They go on to say, I will secretly use that when the same cannot be done openly, I will secretly use the poison cup, the strangulation cord, the steel of the poignard, or the leaden bullet, regardless of the honor, rank, dignity, or authority of the persons, whatever may be their condition in life, either public or private, as I am at any time may be directed so to do by any agents of the Pope or of the Jesuits.
I got one word. It's disgusting.
It's a Jesuit oath. This
That's
little
disgusting.
old man running around. This is the oath he took. That little old man running around, kissing babies, giving money out, visiting prisons, getting red carpet rolled out for him, driving in Fiats, Kia Souls. This is the oath that he had to take in order to become a Jesuit. Be ye not deceived. If you keep playing with fire, Amery, it's only a matter of time before you get burnt.
I think if any logical person would read this Jesuit extreme oath of induction, that's what it's called, right? The
Yes,
induction.
correct.
I think they would think twice about all these so-called humble acts of the Pope.
Amery, just to say it, I'm not the only one saying, "Oh, you." Some people say, "Oh, this guy just a fanatic. This guy is just a fanatic. He's out left somewhere."
We're just
He's
reading
talking
their documents.
Just reading their documents. But I'm not the only one, saying this stuff. Let me give you some major names that you might recognize that had the very same thing to say about these Jesuit order. Have you heard the name?
Let's name drop.
Let's name drop a couple heavyweight now that's saying the very same thing. You heard of a man by the name of John Adams?
John Adams? Yeah,
John Adams.
I've heard the name John Adams, yes.
John Adams, Amery, was the second president of the United States. He had something to say about the Jesuits as well.
What did he have to say? Did he say WWJD?
Here's what John Adams had to say about the Jesuits, this sweet little old man running around. John Adams wrote a letter in 1816 to Thomas Jefferson. That's the third president of the United States, all right, regarding the restoration of the Society of Jesus. That's when the Jesuits just came in. The Jesuits were reinstated in 1814. Here's what John Adams said regarding the Jesuit, quote, "Their restoration is indeed a step towards darkness, cruelty, and death. I do not like the appearance of the Jesuits. I do not like the appearance of the Jesuits. If ever there was a body of men who merited eternal damnation on earth and in hell, it is the Jesuits." That's a direct quote from John Adams, second president of the United States. What is Obama now saying about him?
Who knows? I mean, when's the Sunday law?
If you play with fire, you might get burned. It is my opinion, continuing from John Adams, it is my opinion that if the liberties of this country, the United States of America, are destroyed, it will be by the hands of the Roman Catholic Jesuit priests, for they are the most crafty, dangerous enemies to civil and religious liberty. They have instigated most of the wars of Europe. John Adams, second president.
Very insightful. This is some scary stuff, man. A deception, I'm thinking about deceptions. A deception doesn't become a deception until it's a deception in its purest form, at its tertiary level. But to the people who are unaware, it's not a deception until they become aware that it's a deception. Until then, it's truth. And these people think this Pope is being truthful and honest, and they think he's such a nice guy, but the honest truth is he just wants power for the Vatican. That's it. He wants power for the Vatican. He wants to they want to take away religious liberty. That's one of the main things. And if you notice in our Constitution, I was looking at the Constitution the other day, the Bill of Rights the other day. Looking at the Bill of Rights, First Amendment. The First Amendment is in regard to religion. What does that tell you about the nation we live in?
That's what I'm telling you from the history. That's why we came. Because of the persecution in Europe. So the first thing we had to secure, hey, we don't want what we just left.
Exactly.
We want to change. We want to try something new.
That's the first thing. And then the second thing, not to get on a tangent, but the second thing was the protection of arms. Because we need to protect ourselves against
the Jesuits. Against
a tyrannical government in case it happens.
And that's the only way you can protect yourself. They were trying to protect themselves against the Jesuits because they know it's only a matter of time before they're going to come over here. So we need to keep our guns ready.
That makes perfect sense. The Jesuits or anybody who tries to become a tyrant in America, what they realized was that the people who framed the Constitution, they realized, hey, you know what? It's not going down like that again.
It's not going down like that again.
What we left, there can never be a repeat of that.
They tried, yes.
But Bible prophecy teaches us that there will be a repeat. There will be a repeat.
Here's another one. That was just, some people say, that was just one man that said, that was just John Adams. Here's another president that has something to say about the Jesuits. Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, and what happened to him?
Right? What happened with him? We already know. Now, here's what happened. Abraham Lincoln in his book, there's a book by the name of 50 Years in the Church of Rome, written by an ex-Jesuit also by the name of Charles Chiniquy. Now, Charles Chiniquy was framed by the Jesuits at the time, just before Lincoln became president. The Jesuits were trying to frame him. No attorney wanted to defend Chiniquy except Lincoln. Before Lincoln was president, he was an attorney. So Lincoln took his case and said, Chiniquy, let me look in to see what's going on with you. And when Lincoln looked in and saw, come on, man, you mean these Jesuits are trying to frame you like that? I'll defend you. Lincoln was successful in defending Chiniquy. But while in the courtroom, after Lincoln got Chiniquy off, Lincoln was looking at Chiniquy and like, Chiniquy, why are you so sad? And Chiniquy was like, I'm happy you got me off, but in the courtroom is several Jesuits. And from the look on their face, pretty soon you'll be a dead man. All right. Now, Abraham Lincoln realized what was going on. Here's a direct quote from Lincoln in the biography by Charles Chiniquy. This biography again is called 50 Years in the Church of Rome. Quote, Abraham Lincoln says, this war, talking about the Civil War. Remember the Bible talks about that all that were slain upon the earth?
Right.
The Civil War, Amery, would not have happened if it wasn't for the Jesuits. The Jesuits are directly responsible for the American Civil War from 1860 to 1865. Well, according to Abraham Lincoln.
Right.
Who am I? According to Abraham Lincoln. Quote, Abraham Lincoln, this war would never have been possible without the sinister influence of the Jesuits. We owe it to popery that we now see our land reddened with the blood of our noblest sons. Though there were great differences of opinion between the South and the North on the question of slavery, neither Jeff Davis nor any one of the leading men of the Confederacy would have dared to attack the North had they not relied upon the promise of the Jesuits. That money and arms of the Roman Catholic Church and France were at their disposal if they would attack us.
That's heavy.
The Protestants of the North and South, this is Lincoln, would surely unite to get rid of the Jesuits if they could learn how the priests, nuns, and monks which daily land on our shores under the pretext of preaching religion are nothing else but emissaries of the Pope, of Napoleon III, to undermine our institutions, alienate the hearts of the people from our Constitution and our laws, destroy our schools, and prepare a reign of anarchy here as they have done in Ireland, in Mexico, in Spain, and wherever there are any people who want to be free. Abraham Lincoln.
That's heavy. Yeah, and there was a pope, I think it was the last pope that mentioned that we had too much freedom in America. Too much freedom. It bothers him. He keeps him up at night.
Keeps him up at night.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't say that, but I'm just joking. But he did say that there was too much freedom.
No. When you really look into it, there's definitely a difference between the Constitution and canon law. Going along with Lincoln, though, I am so glad to meet you again, Lincoln said to Chiniquy. Mm-hmm. You see that your friends, the Jesuits, have not yet killed me, but they would have surely done it when I passed through their most devoted city, Baltimore. Again, Baltimore, Maryland.
In Maryland. Land
Isn't
of
that
Mary.
where it just came?
Yeah, land of Mary.
So even back then, they favored Maryland. So Lincoln was like, they would have killed me. But what I had done, had I not defeated their plans by passing incognito a few hours before they expected me. New projects of assassinations are detected almost every day. We feel that they come from the same masters in the art of murder, the Jesuits. These are Lincoln words I'm reading. So many plots have been made against my life that it is a real miracle that they have all failed, when we consider that the great majority of them were in the hands of skillful Roman Catholic murderers trained by the Jesuits. Lincoln words.
That's what pages?
Page 493, 501, 50 years in the Church of Rome. Lincoln goes on to say, At last, I realized that my fight is not against the American people of the South, but more against the Pope of Rome and the Jesuits.
Wow.
Lincoln words directly.
That's heavy.
What is Obama now saying? I saw him on TV today.
Welcome, world
he got a nice suit on. Michelle looked nice and all, the nice smiles
Kids
and red
good.
Carpets. Kids are looking good.
Family's looking
Brothers,
good.
wait a minute. Something's wrong with this picture. Somebody's been duped.
And it's not the Pope.
It's not the Pope. Huh? Somebody have changed.
We'll put it that way.
Because for old enemies to be now best of friends, there had to be some change that went on, Amery. Yes. Somebody had changed. If we were once enemies,
right,
and now we're buddies, hey, there's some changes that went on.
Yeah, we've been infiltrated, and it's sad. The country's in trouble, no doubt. The country's in trouble, but more so than that, we want to point you towards the gospel. Spiritually, we are preparing for liberty of conscience, freedom of religion to be taken away at the hands of the Vatican, at the hands of the Pope or the popes. They're attempting to set up a one world religion, and we believe that this one world religion will have its main day on the day of the sun, or Sunday, which was not sanctioned by Scripture. Scripture teaches that the Lord's Day is the seventh day, Sabbath, and you can find that in the book of Exodus chapter 20. It is the day of the Lord. The seventh day is the day of the Lord. That is the day he rested on. That is the only day that he blessed. This will become the overarching theme later on. You can mark my words. There's a great book I see it here in front of you. I want to go ahead and plug it this time. It's called The Great Controversy.
Yes, she has something to say about them as well.
You can look up this book online, The Great Controversy, or you can go to, you can order it on Amazon.com, but you can look it up online. It's there for free. You can even download it as an app onto your smartphone. The Great Controversy, chapters, I think 35 talks about liberty of conscience threatened. And then chapter 36, let me take a quick look at this here. Chapter 36 also has some interesting details.
While you look at that, I just like to bring out again another notable figure in history that had something else to say about the Jesuits, a man by the name of Charles Spurgeon.
Oh, Charles Spurgeon, yeah, I've heard that name.
Known as the Prince of Preachers. The Prince of Preachers. You found the chapters there?
Yeah, chapter 36, the impending conflict. I'd go ahead and read Great Controversy 35, 36. I'd read 37, 38, 39, 40.
I think I should read the whole book, Amery.
Yeah, you should read the whole
Because
book.
the history from the beginning.
Right, yeah, definitely. What the whole book, you should read the whole book for sure. But I would read these chapters.
Start them off.
I would start off with this chapter and then go back and read the history. We've given you a great deal of history already in terms of the early church, in terms of the Reformation. We've given you a lot of the details that you will find in here, some of the actions of the early fathers of the Protestant movement. And so there's a lot of good information, but we want to point you towards prophecy at this time. So go ahead and check out the Great Controversy, those chapters. Okay, go
Ellen
ahead.
G. White. Yeah, Charles Spurgeon,
White, right.
known as the Prince of Preachers, now says this regarding the Jesuits. Our ancient enemies have small belief in our common sense if they imagine that we shall ever be able to trust them. The sooner we let certain archbishops and cardinals know that we are aware of their designs and will in nothing cooperate with them, the better for us and our country. The sooner we let certain archbishops and cardinals know that we are aware of their designs. They might have fooled Obama. They might have fooled Fidel.
They might have.
They have not duped me, Amery. I don't know if they duped you, bro.
No, I'm good.
You good?
I've read the Great Controversy.
You ain't got that amnesia on you, that Antichrist amnesia on you?
I've read the Great Controversy.
All
I
right.
know exactly
what
they're
about
doing.
because he's kissing babies and giving money out?
Well, for a minute I was wavering,
But I
came back to my senses. I came back to my senses.
Spurgeon goes on to say, listen to this now. The sooner we let certain archbishops and cardinals know that we are aware of their designs and will in nothing cooperate with them, the better for us and our country. In nothing, Amery. Cooperate with them in nothing.
Shut them down.
Of course, we shall be howled at as bigots. People are going to look at us, you do that. Oh, you guys just bigots. You fanatics.
Right.
He says, but we can afford to smile at that cry when it comes from the church which invented the Inquisition.
Right. The intolerant church.
That invented the Inquisition.
The true bigots.
Here's the motto, according to Spurgeon. No peace is the motto of reason as well as of religion. No peace with Rome is the motto of reason as well as of religion. No peace with Rome.
Amen. That's almost prophetic. We're gonna have to bring this transmission to a close, but we will be back tomorrow night covering more current events. Let me just go ahead and finish off a few of the other current events from today. Nancy Pelosi, when asked about how she felt about the Pope visiting, she said, "It's thrilling beyond words." She's also a Roman Catholic, as well as John Boehner.
No wonder.
For Catholic lawmakers, according to one of the articles, this holds great significance. What are their expectations? Democrats are hoping for backing from the pontiff against income inequality, immigration, and climate change. Most of the things the poor of the world can espouse.
Yes,
they can
identify
get along with
he's
that.
in my field again. This climate change. I'm in the solar. I run a solar company.
Right.
I'm saying this guy. Maybe I need to get out of the solar now. This guy's pushing this solar stuff as well. The Antichrist pushing solar.
He's pushing climate change. He's saying, "Hey, we need to do something about it." And
I need to take a second look at my
at your portfolio and your business. Quote, some in the GOP are suspicious of the Pope's activist stance on such issues. House and Senate leaders sent letters refraining from members of both the House and Senate from shaking hands. They mentioned that the events would be televised around the world, and they didn't want to give off any sort of partisan type of a partisan type of image, or some sort of image that they're aligning themselves with the Pope. Anyway, so because the Pope hasn't necessarily spoken yet, there's not a lot going on in terms of policy. But let me go ahead and just plug where we're going to be. Okay, before I do that plug, we got one more thing.
Yeah, one more thing I'd like to add into. This is now from another notable name. This guy's name is Eric Phelps. Eric John Phelps. He has a book out known as The Vatican Assassins. All right. This man is I've met personally and had him here in Orlando. Yeah, brought him down. We did this on TV. We had him here. We did a series way back then in 911. But here's what he has to say regarding the Inquisition. Because many people don't understand what the Inquisition is. Mm-hmm. The Inquisition, Amery, is how they were able to kill the 50 million people during the Dark Ages. It was under the Inquisition. Mm-hmm. All right. The Catholic priest is not the one that did any of the killing. What they did, they had the authorities by taking control, the political control, the government. Mm-hmm. They had the police come and arrest you, and then did all the torture and all that stuff to you. Right. All right. So they're carrying it out. So the Inquisition has not stopped. Most people think that it was way back. And no,
it's changed forms now. It's modified according to Alberto Rivera. Yeah.
It's been modified, correct. The Inquisition, Amery, is still happening today.
Right.
The Inquisition is happening today. While this man is here in America running around kissing babies, the Inquisition is happening today. What about what's happening over in Europe right now? The refugee crisis, Amery, is a result of the Inquisition. Listen to this. Eric Phelps says this. In the 20th century, the Jesuits have conducted their Inquisition under the names. Look at the names of Nazism. You heard of Nazism? Mm-hmm. That's the Inquisition. They had control of Hitler, which carried out the mass slaughter of the Jews. Fascism. Communism.
Right. Or they invented that.
And now, watch this now. What do we have in our day and age? What are they? The war on what?
Islamic terrorism.
The war on terror. Mm-hmm. It's the modern day Inquisition, Amery, right before our eyes being televised on CNN. Who are we fighting against now? What's the name of the group? The biggest group now. First it was bin Laden. Remember? We had to go get bin Laden. Al-Qaeda. Now they went down. We fought them. We got them. Which is another mystery. All now they haven't found his body. You killed the most wanted man on the planet and you can't produce his body.
I don't believe they killed him, but that's another story. I think that's a lie.
But now we have another group. What's the name of the group that we're supposed to be fighting against?
ISIS and ISIL and El Nusra or La Nusra or something
ISIL.
Like that. ISIL. Yeah.
It's the modern day Inquisition. The Jesuit order is in control of these groups. And they're carrying Christians out the modern day Inquisition. People are fleeing now. They said over 20 million refugees have been created just since 2011 in the last 4 years, Amery, as a result of this Inquisition.
That's incredible. What was I going to say? I lost my train of thought here, but there's a researcher by the name of who did his name will come to me in a second, who did a report on Islam.
Yeah.
And its Roman Catholic roots. It was very interesting. He showed, it was about, I think it was a couple of hour long presentation. His name is Dr. Walter Veith.
Yes.
Veith spelled Veith. And you can look up Islam and the Catholicism. You might be able to find the link. But it was interesting how he mentions that those two, that Islam was a creation of the Catholic world, of the Vatican. Vatican is so powerful and prolific in terms of its creation of religions and denominations and Christianity.
Remember what you're dealing with is the Roman army, the Jesuits. So nothing is too great. No deception is too great. As a matter of fact, I remember when I was there in school in Washington, D.C. at Howard, did a tour of the Masonic, the Scottish Rite Masonic Temple. Mm-hmm. Now, in that temple, there's a motto that's written. It says, Ordo ab chaos. Ordo ab chaos. In Latin, order
out of chaos.
Out of chaos. In other words, the New World Order that you were talking about will be brought to you by first chaos. Right. The ones who cause the chaos, Amery, are the very same ones that now come back and offer you the solution.
Right. Yeah.
So you need this ISIS, ISIL, this terror over here.
They're bringing them. All those
bringing them.
refugees. There's going to be some Islamic terrorists, at least one or two. I mean, there's got to be a few, and they're going to cause some problems, and they're going to be all over Europe. So this is the perfect Trojan horse, is what you're saying.
Correct.
Okay, we're gonna wrap it up there. We're gonna tune in next time to Bible Talk with Amery, and we'll continue with researcher Kirk Francis. You can also hear us on skyangelsradio.com on Saturday and Sunday around 5 p.m. Anyway, this has been Bible Talk with Amery with our special transmission on Coming to America. Pope Francis's One World Religion Agenda, his historic trip to America. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, and God bless.